Yeah, we getting down to the end of this text. It's a great text. It's really cool. And we'll do it again in another form, the Bhagavad Gita, covering a lot of different topics that are not covered here. The three gunas, karma, dharma, meditation, etc. But this is a good introduction. This is actually quite an advanced text. Really lays out the method of discrimination, presents most of the logic very clearly in a rather sophisticated way. As I said, it's actually a much larger text, but this is the essence of it. Great sage from Chennai, Swami Paramarthananda. Great sage, like Shankara, one of those, lives in Chennai. He selected the verses, and his guru, Swami Dayananda Saraswati, made the interpretation of those verses, and it's on the basis of Swami Dayananda's commentaries that I'm making these talks. He is one of my gurus, Swami Dayananda. Okay, I'll just read, just to catch you, I'll just read the verses. I won't comment on the ones we did yesterday, and then we'll talk about is there karma for jnanis. For liberated people, is there karma? It's a big topic. It's always there. If you've read Tripura Rahasya, which is said to be Ramana's favorite text, there's a big section, an important section in the back called Prarabdha. Prarabdha means karma, a certain kind of karma, for a jnani, for enlightened people. Is there such a thing? Some people say there is, and some people say there isn't. So we have to resolve that question. You know, like for example, people said, well, Ramana wasn't enlightened because he got cancer. Well, their definition of enlightenment's a rather strange definition, isn't it? Because if Ramana is the body, then and the body's not supposed to get cancer, and only enlightened bodies are free of cancer, then they're right. Aren't they? Yeah. Ramana is the body, and an enlightened body is the one that's free of disease, then Ramana is not enlightened, is he? But if Ramana is the self, and his body gets cancer, or the body, it wouldn't even be his body, because when you know you're the self, you realize it isn't your body, you realize it's Ishwar's body, then is there karma for you? So we're going to get into that topic. Anyway, so we started with the benefits yesterday, with the benefits of this knowledge of non-duality. Non-duality means the knowledge that appearances to the contrary notwithstanding, the experiential the appearance of a subject and object is only an appearance. That there is no actual distinction between the subject and an object, because everything is only experienced in you as you. All the world has no world outside. The world is only inside yourself. The world is made up of your own thoughts. Your own thoughts are made out of your mind. Your mind is made out of consciousness. And what? How far are you from your consciousness? You're not far from your consciousness at all. You are consciousness, and therefore all the objects are you. Yeah. It's simple. I know it's hard to grasp, but it's very simple. It's hard to grasp because it's so simple. And well, why is it hard to grasp? Because ignorance makes it look like there's a world out there. And I take my body to be myself. And when I take the body to be myself, then definitely the world is out there. But actually the body is what? as out there as the rest of the world, isn't it? The body's an object to me. Anyway, so karma of the liberated. Oh, here we go. Benefits of knowledge of non-duality. The thought, i.e. the knowledge which indicates the identity between the individual, the total, and the total, is free of duality and is consciousness alone. When the knowledge is firm, the one who has the knowledge is liberated while living.
What number are you at?
That 83. 83. Yeah. No, I'm just rereading it. I'm not going to unfold it. I'm just reading it to lead up. Okay? He or she is said to be liberated while living when self-knowledge is clear, bliss is continuous, and the world more or less forgotten. Even though he or she lives in a body, the most salient characteristic of the liberated is the absence of the sense of I and mine. He or she does not regret actions done in the past, is free from guilt, is not worried about the future, and is dispassionate with reference to what happens in the present. He or she views apparently distinct objects endowed with acceptable and unacceptable qualities equally. He or she is not subject to elation when situations are in harmony with his or her likes and dislikes, or to depression when they aren't. He or she is indifferent to praise and blame. There is no samsara, no life of becoming for the liberated. If there is samsara, there is no knowledge of awareness owing to the extroversion of the mind. Just as actions done in a dream are dissolved on waking, the accumulated results of past actions are dissolved by self-knowledge. The good and bad deeds done in a dream do not send the waker to heaven or hell. The liberated are free of experiences and impartial toward them and do not worry about the future. Space is not affected by the object sitting in it, nor by the smell of liquor. Where that came from. The self of some weird little stray little artifacts creep into these things. I've cleaned up some of the scriptures, you know, where they stick in because it just drive you crazy. The self-awareness is not affected by the attributes of the limiting adjuncts. The limiting adjuncts are the 5 sheaths and the 3 bodies. Okay, now today, verse 95. The results of actions done before liberation fructify like an arrow released from a bow. Okay, I'm an archer, or I got a gun. Okay, a gun. This is old days. Now I got a gun. When I pull the trigger, can I get the bullet back? Until I've pulled the trigger, I'm in control of the karma, aren't I? You're in control of your karma until you pull the trigger. When you pull the trigger, that means when you do an action, when you release an action into the field here, this is the field of action, field of Dharma, it's a Dharma field. Now when you release an action into here, what has to happen? It has to produce a result. You can't get it back. So, you know, be careful what you say to people. That's our biggest problem. We're all shooting off our mouth. And once you said it, once it's gone out into the Dharma field, it's going to produce a reaction. It's going to produce a result. Okay? So you can't get it back. That's the point here. An arrow intended for a tiger, and he gives an example. An arrow intended for a tiger does not stop when the archer realized that he mistook a cow for a tiger. Huh? Huh? In the process of doing your karmas, whatever they are, you realize you made a mistake. Huh? You realize, hey, I shouldn't have done that action. Too bad. Karma doesn't care. You've got to understand this. Karma doesn't care. It doesn't care if you're enlightened. It doesn't care at all. In this Dharma field, in this karma field, when you act, there will be a result. No doubt about it. Because it's just consciousness.
Is the karma not caring because it seems sentient? Is that
Yeah, the karma, that's right. There's no sentiency in this Maya field. In this Dharma field, it's not a conscious being. It's not conscious. It's unconscious. It's insentient. So it doesn't know anything. It's just mechanical. This is just a mechanical environment. So an action is going to produce a result. The physicists say that, don't they? For every action, an equal and opposite reaction. The reaction will be appropriate to the nature of the action. You can see what the problem with the yoga view of enlightenment is. You're going to do all these things. You're going to raise your kundalini. Okay, raise your kundalini. Okay, fair enough. You do all these actions and you raise the kundalini. Then you get what? The kundalini explodes. But then what happens? The kundalini unexplodes, because the kundalini never takes you out of the field of action. It's always what? Just the result of actions in the field. So, that's all it is. If this is the kundalini, then you're fine. But if the kundalini is something that's hidden in this field and you do actions to awaken it, what's going to happen? It's going to go back to sleep, and that's exactly what happens. Crash. You go way up and you come boom way down. It's just mechanical. And when you're in the action world, you have a problem because and it's a good experience. What is the problem? You want to make it permanent, right? You want it to last. This is what, This is a huge problem of the meditators and the yogis. They get in these beautiful states of mind through their actions, through manipulating their mind and doing various things. They get in these beautiful states, but they can't maintain those states. Because all the factors in the field are what? In this field, it's a mechanical field. And any action is going to produce what? An equal and opposite reaction. So there's no way out of the karma field by karma. There's no way out. This is the hardest thing to accept. Na karmana, na prajaya, danena, tyagini ke amritatvamana shuhu, says in the Veda. Not by karma will you get out. Not by doing good, fixing the world, hey, Prabhupada, will you get out. Not by having offspring will you attain immortality. Not by any of those things are you going to get out of this matrix. Na karmana, na prajaya, danena, then tyagini ke amritatvamana shuhu. How are you going to do it? By letting go of the notion that you're in it in the first place. By letting go of the notion that you're this doer. Tyaga means to renounce, letting go. And how do you let go? How do you get out of this person here? You realize that you're full and whole, complete, actionless, non-dual, ordinary, unconcerned awareness. So, okay, we talk karma now. It is not correct to say that the liberated are what? Affected by the results of their past actions, just as it is not correct to say that a person who killed someone in a dream should be held accountable when he or she wakes up. Fair enough, huh? You do naughty things in a dream, but what? There's no consequences when you wake up, are there? Because all the consequences, what? Stayed in the dream. They didn't transfer into the waking state. So all the consequences of actions when you're ignorant, done here in ignorance, they're all what? They're erased from your karmic account when you wake up. Now, waking up is not something you do, it's something you are. Because then you're going to say, okay, now how do I wake up? Huh? Get that one, right? Huh? How am I going to wake up? As if waking up was a doing that you were going to do. So don't ask me how you're going to wake up. What? You're already, what? Awake. You're going to wake up by what? Getting rid of your ignorance, i.e. listening to these teachings until your ignorance goes. And then you'll see you were always awake. Awakening is not enlightenment. Okay? Although in the modern spiritual world, you know, it's a kind of, you know, the spiritual people, they're just as bad as the worldly people. Honestly. I know there's none of them here, but they're all status conscious. This big status thing in the spiritual world. It's just a human thing. It's called matsarya, and it's a comparative. It's part of the intellect. The intellect is always comparing one thing to another. So, if you're in the worldly world, you compare on the basis of wealth and power and fame and glory and all that stuff. But when you get in the spiritual world, then you've got other things to compare. How spiritual they are, how enlightened they are, what state they're in, what level they're in, whether they're awakened or not awakened, how awakened they are. Da Frijan, what was his name? Da Avabasa, the famous...
Franklin Jones.
Franklin Jones, yeah,
Jones.
the Avabasa Ruchira Buddha, Avatar's Avatar. He had it all figured out. He had Ramana on the 6th level, and of course the 7th level is the top level. And who was sitting on that level? He was. Yeah. Yeah, they're all status conscious. So in this dream you can divide it up and make it all out. But when you wake up, you're not in this dream anymore. Wake up means when you understand what? That this is just a dream. And that's easy to understand. You know why? If you understand what the definition of a dream is, then it's easy to see that this is just a dream. And now what does that mean? Something that's never stays the same from one moment to the next. That's why it's not real. That's what a dream is. A dream is something that's never the same from one second to the next second. That's the definition of samsara. That's what samsara means. What never, ever is the same from one second to the next. How can you find anything to hook onto here? See what's happening? You're in this dream world. You think there's something solid. You're trying to hook your life onto that, but the thing is changing every second. And the one who's doing the hooking is changing every second, isn't it? This person who's trying to get secure here, not only are the objects that he or she's hooking up to, but as soon as you hook up to an object, that changes you, doesn't it? Yeah. So the subject is in a constant state of flux. The objects are in a constant state of flux. Then what? The experience or the connection between the two, which is what an experience is just a connection between the subject and object. Is that going to be permanent? Is that going to be something you can count on? No. It's not going to be, you're not going to be able to count on that. This is why, if you believe in this experiential notion of enlightenment, you're a fool. And I'm probably the only person out there that's telling people that doesn't work. Because everybody else is telling you, oh yeah, that definitely is it. There's only one thing that's permanent, and that's the one who sees. And that one's the one that watches or sees the dream. That's you. That's what's permanent, me. So, okay, so if something happens here, it doesn't apply here. You can see what? So is there karma for it? Now, there's a problem here. Again, these have to be resolved, these doubts, because the scripture's stuck with language. We're stuck with language here. It's a shame. But it's all we got, so we got to understand how language is being used here. When you say Ramana is liberated, okay, Ramana was enlightened. Let's use Ramana's example because we're here. Now, Is that true? Well, it depends on who Ramana is, doesn't it? Huh? Who is Ramana? What does the word Ramana, just do inquiry on it, what does the word Ramana refer to? Most everybody sees that picture, and that's what is Ramana to them. It's a symbol of their self. From our point of view, it's a symbol of ourself. This is what we'd like to be. This is our fantasy, our dream. We'd all like to be Raman. Because he's so pure and beautiful and holy and free. So, but what is, when you say Ramana was enlightened or Ramana wasn't enlightened, who are you referring to? The self. I mean, it has to be the self. If it's what? If it's that little guy, that skinny little guy that sat in his underwear and walked around the hill, then was he enlightened? Or was he in the light of Ramana? You know the word Ramana, you know what it means? It means the one who revels in the hearts of all beings. Revels means dances or enjoys or plays. It means awareness. Awareness, the one who revels in the light, means is the light. So, is there going to be parabdha? Is there going to be karma for Ramana? If he's this, no. If he's this, is there going to be parabdha for Ramana? Yes. So that apparent person, you could see in the movie when he had the cancer and he was just dying and very sick, you could see that apparent person was suffering, wasn't it? That little Ramana was suffering, but what? This Ramana was not suffering. Think about it. Who am I? This is the whole point. This was all Ramana's whole teaching. It's the same. Ramana actually dedicated, I don't know how many of his works to Shankara. In other words, he thought Shankara was the top dog, and he was a small potato somewhere down on the bottom of the... We don't see it that way, actually. We think Ramana was like the king of all sages and so forth. But Ramana was just a link in the whole tradition or the whole lineage. And he understood and acknowledged his connection back to Shankara, back to the Veda, he acknowledged that. He was just, another one, in this long sampradaya, this long lineage of jnanis or sages that came from the Upanishad, from the Vedas. Anyway, so now if you have a problem with this idea of karma, it's the next one. The infallible words of Scripture. Hey, this sounds like religion, right? Uh-oh. I don't know if I'm going to believe this or not. Doesn't it? The infallible words of Scripture, that's what all the, that's what they did in the Middle Ages. That was the Inquisition, wasn't it? In the Inquisition they said, the Bible says, and if you don't believe, we just cut off your head or torture you. They'd pull out your nails and boil in oil and put you on the rack and pull you apart, because you weren't towing the line here with the infallible words of Scripture. So is this another one of these religious fanatical things that's going to I got to believe in? No, the words of Scripture are infallible, but what? We leave it up to you to find out whether or not they're true. We call it shraddha, or faith. And this is a peculiar kind of faith. It's not blind faith. The word shraddha in Sanskrit, this doesn't mean blind faith. Those people, the Christians don't give you any way to check up the Scripture, do they? There's no way that you can check up to see what Scripture says is true or not.
The monasteries. The monks.
They check up with the Scripture, they do?
Well, they check. They
Well, what
learn
about
to read the Bible.
That's right, but do they where the Scripture says something that's stupid, do they say that's stupid and we throw it out and we should change the Scripture? No, they don't. No, they do not, huh? They definitely do not. Because they just have to believe what the Scripture says. Now we say it's you don't have to believe what the Scripture says. If you do, it's an aid, but here's how you can check up to see whether or not what the Scripture says is true. In other words, we leave it up to you to investigate using a methodology here to see whether or not what the Scripture says is true. Think about that. You're the final, your own experience is the final arbiter here. And the Scripture is going to show you how to check up to see whether or not it's true. And that's what inquiry is. So and what is the Scripture saying? Okay? Now this is not, you're not going to get people pulling out your toenails and thumbnails and torturing you behind this information. You know what the information the Scripture says? You're great, you're okay, you're beautiful, you're whole, your nature's love, you're wonderful. That's all the Scripture's saying. You know that? You boil all of these words in this whole great big tradition. You just throw it in a soup and you boil it down and boil away everything, and you got one little thing. You're beautiful, you're okay, you're whole, you're complete, you're wonderful, you're perfect. That's all it's saying. Nothing else. Now, do I believe that? Do you believe that? And what is your belief based upon? Is it based upon, What is your belief that you're okay based upon? Is it based upon an understanding that you're okay, or is it just a blind belief that you're okay? Even if it's a blind belief, great. If you can't, fake it till you make it. That's what we say in Vedanta. Okay, you don't believe it? Just fake it. And you're going to find out it's true. That's all we're saying here. So, infallible words? Yeah, that's infallible. You're fine. Stop worrying. Infallible. It says what? What does the Scripture say? You are unborn. The self here, that's indirect knowledge. We'll just make it direct. You are unborn. You're not born. Right? And not conditioned by time. If you're not born, you're not going to be conditioned by time, are you? Investigate your consciousness right now and see if you can find a time when it began, and see if you can find the end of your consciousness. Just think about it. Can you find a time when you began? And can you see the end of you? You can't. Not possible. Not possible. Yeah, if you take yourself to be a body, maybe there was a time you were not here. But what about you? So like, why now am I concerned with what's going on in the dream? It doesn't have anything to do with me at all. It says, if that is true, then how can action and its result affect me? Affect it. It means me. Where are the actions you did this morning? Where are they? Where's the actions that are taking place right now? Gone. Because new actions are here. And now where are those actions? They're gone also. Where is time? Can you feel the presence of awareness? Can you feel the eternity right here? Why is it so silent here? Why is it so still? Because you're experiencing yourself as awareness. And then the thoughts are appearing and disappearing in you right now, aren't they? Because the body is superimposed upon the self, it is not independent of the self. How can a superimposition be born? This is a constant projection of Ishvara, this body. It was never born and never dies. It's just a continual projection. It's sustained by macrocosmic consciousness, not by you. You don't have control of your body when it's born and when it dies and what happens to it. It's presented, it's projected, superimposed on the self. So it's not independent. Right? How can, if it is not born, how can it die? Even the body, Oh yeah, the body's born and died. Well, it's saying, hey, the body isn't even born and died, is it? In the dream, is that, in a dream body, is that a real body? Is it actually born and does it actually die? A body in a dream? No. It's just awareness projecting itself as awareness in a form that's fooling you, that's tricking you. If it is not born, how can it die? It's just a direct projection, it's a superimposition. How can something that is unreal produce effects on what's real? How can any... It can't. It's not. Answer, it cannot. And look at your own experience. Where is all the stuff you did? Where is it right now? Here, in this silence, in this presence of awareness, which is you, in this presence of awareness, where is all the stuff you did? Where is it? It's not here. It isn't even, why isn't it here? Because it never existed in the first place. It never happened. It just appeared and disappeared. Nothing ever took place. If it's real, it's going to be here all the time. It's not going to appear and disappear. That's what Maya is. Maya is just a flickering projection. And the projection is so intense, it looks like it's real. It's like a movie screen. The scripture speaks of karma. Now listen to this one. See, these guys weren't afraid to insult people. I love that. It's not like this modern PC bullshit world where everybody's afraid to say anything naughty because it might hurt somebody's tender ego, you know. Here's it. The scripture speaks of karma from an empirical standpoint to satisfy the curiosity of dull-witted people who want to know why the body remains in the wake of self-knowledge. That's not nice, is it? This scripture. It's not nice. It's not warm and fuzzy. It's not trying to make you feel good. It's not spiritual at all, is it? It's not PC. Hey, it's just, okay, you're stupid. We'll just tell you this bullshit about karma. To satisfy your curiosity. Because there's no karma. Karma is only in your belief, in your mind. There's no actual karma. It's just a dream karma for a dream entity. Yeah. There's no karma. Karma is just cooked up out of ignorance. There's only what? Awareness projecting this dream. And what is the dream? It's nothing but awareness. Just like what? The wave is nothing but the ocean. What's the difference between the wave and the ocean? The wave is the ocean. This dream is awareness. But owing to ignorance, I take it to be something else. I believe that this dreamer here is real. And then I try to do karma to get myself out of this. But there's no karma. Because every action is resolved instantaneously and immediately into awareness, all the time. Because it's born out of awareness and resolves into awareness. It just flickers on and flickers off. Where are your actions now? Where are they? Where's all this karma that you think you've suffered? Where is that? There's no evidence you did anything. Apart from the memory of thoughts that appeared in your awareness at a particular time. If you had no memory, you wouldn't even be talking about karma. A friend of mine took me to visit his mom who was who had Alzheimer's. And we just going out to dinner. He said, "Let's just stop. I want to say, say good evening to my mom." So he said, "Watch this." He goes and he tells her this joke, and she laughs like crazy. And then he turned right around and told her the same joke, 30 seconds later, and she laughed just as loud the second time. Where's the karma? Where's the karma? The self was there to laugh in the beginning, and the self was there to laugh the second time. There was no karma, there was no connection. So you want to get in line and get Alzheimer's. They're talking karma just to please fools. Stop thinking you have any karma. Trying to worry about your karma. Karma just means what's happening to you, what has happened to you, what's going to happen to you. That's all karma means. Nothing's going to happen to you. Why not? Because what? You're the self.
And also the reincarnation aspect is bullshit.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. Again, that's right. It's just a clever little talk that we have to give to people who are so locked in the dream. That's all. They're so locked in the dream that we have to try to explain it to them in terms of the dream itself. It's okay. Listen, I don't mean to, I'm not trying to insult anybody. The scripture is not trying to insult anybody. But you're all big people. You're all mature adults. So you can take a little bit of the truth. Huh? Huh? Really, no, seriously. Forget reincarnation. Forget karma. Forget all of this nonsense rubbish that they're talking here and there. If you can't understand what's being said here, okay, we'll take you seriously as this doer, experiencer entity, which we're going to do soon. Starting tomorrow, we're going to take you seriously as this person. Because that doesn't mean there's really anything wrong with you. You're okay, you can be this person. Right? If you don't like being this, fair enough. We love you anyway. You can be this person. Now we're going to tell you from this point of view what you can do. We'll take karma seriously. Huh? No, you want, okay. Fair enough. Huh?
Because we can.
Because we can. And if you're a karmi means a doer. If you're in the karma world and you're a doer, we got a teaching just for you. That's the beauty of Vedanta. It's not like Neo-Advaita. There's no karma, there's no dharma, there's no doer, there's no teacher, there's no student, there's no. Huh? But they don't establish you here, do they? They just tell you here there's nothing, and then you're stuck in this stupid world with nothing to do, no way out. I'm not here. This world doesn't really exist. You don't really exist. Bullshit. If you take yourself to be, you take this world to be real and you find yourself here, fair enough. We'll show you how to get out. We'll show you what you can do to work your way out of it. But this teaching here is not for karmis. This is not for householders. This teaching here is for jnyasus. Jnyasus means inquirers, sannyasis, people who are capable, who have seen through this dream and what? Know that the way out is through knowledge. And who are happy to have their ignorance removed. That's what this one's for. And then we come down to the next teaching, and then we'll build you up slowly. If you want to be an experiencer, for that part of you, and everybody's got that experiencing entity there, fair enough. For that experiencing entity, we'll teach you from that point of view. Either way, doesn't matter. You see, we got a sophisticated teaching here that explains the relationship between what? The dream and reality. Between what's real and what's apparent. It gets it clear. You can be a person. I'm a person. I don't mind being a person. I'm a redneck guru from Montana. You know. You want to, huh?
You like fishing.
Yeah, I like to go fishing. I like all of that. You can be this person. You don't have to deny you. Oh no, I had an awakening and my person dissolved. I don't have a person anymore. Oh, big deal. You know, who cares? You got a person. It's the person that's saying what? The person dissolved. It's not the self that's saying the person dissolved, because the self doesn't care if the person's there. Huh? Think about it. You think awareness cares if you're a person or not? It's happy with you being a person. You want to be a person? Okay, fine. Be a person. Fair enough. I'm not going to love you more because you're not a person. Anyway. We did that. Where are we here? I'm getting all carried away. 100. Okay, that's 100. We're on 101, right?
Yeah.
Where's my 100? Oh, here's 101. Getting down to the end of this one. I avoided things. Yeah, okay, take 5, and we'll come back and do this after the break. Before we do these last few verses, there's one topic that I've had quite a few questions about, and we talked about it a couple days ago, and that is the difference between experiential bliss and the bliss of self-realization, the bliss of enlightenment. You know, it's a big confusion. It's always a big confusion. People think they're, when they understand who they are, they're going to be this just bubbly, happy little bliss bunny. You know, the bliss bunnies? That's the fantasy. The fantasy is you're going to be a bliss bunny and just smiling and happy and huggy and kissy all the time. If you look at some of those pictures of Ramana, he obviously wasn't a bliss bunny. I have a friend that used to work in the archives, and he used to bring me, so he had access to all the information about Ramana that the ashram is not pleased to disseminate. And he used to bring me pictures of Ramana where he was really totally bored or totally cranky or obviously very pissed off. And, you know, and this is basically the officially sanctioned photo of Ramana. And so, you know, we look at these photos. Most people's connection with Raman is purely that photograph. Honestly, that's about it. That's good enough. And that's the fantasy. I mean, that's true, but that's the fantasy.
You mean the photographs of him being very grumpy?
Yeah, grumpy, you can see. Sometimes he looks quite arrogant. There's all kinds of bored. I have one where, oh, great photo. I'd love them to publish that. You know, the look of boredom on that man's face is so, it's precious. I love that photo. But you'll never see that. You know, all these people are sitting there, and he's looking like, oh my God, another day with these stupid people staring at me. So there's this, you know, this notion about bliss, what bliss is. And I just got an email a few days ago, from a fellow. I've never met him, but he's been reading the website. He's read my book. He's a very highly evolved person, and we've had maybe 20 or 30 email satsangs over the last 2 or 3 years. And I'll read you this. It'll give you an idea about what the difference between, or what the bliss of enlightenment is. It says, "Hi James, congratulations on your wonderful marriage. I'm so happy for you because you seem to be quite delighted by it, and whatever delights you also delights me. I continue to be filled with a deep affection for you, as I never have in this way with a teacher. I have always wondered about the celebrated love one feels for their guru, and wondered if I would ever have some direct appreciation for the why and the how of it. Now I do. It seems like the most natural thing in the world to feel beholden and grateful to a person who has given you the knowledge that puts into place a lifetime of valid yet piecemeal information. Vedanta is like the catalyst that causes the unstoppable chain reaction, the curdling agent in the milk. Once it is introduced, nothing in heaven or earth can bring it to a halt. It then becomes, as it seems to me, merely a matter of time for the mechanics of it to reach fruition. But from the start there is a conspicuous feature that assures you once and for all that you are on the right path. That conspicuous feature is confidence. That confidence is like a fire that burns away silly false notions, self-pity and blame, and in general the logical fallacies hidden within idle thoughts. Also, what has been liberating is the eliminating of false notion that if I'm really making spiritual progress, I shouldn't ever be groggy or grouchy or absent-minded or lazy. I thought I was supposed to stay energetically focused on the self all the time. But staying focused as well as feeling groggy are merely experiences within the arena of unconcerned awareness, which is me. The one who is trying to stay focused is an object of perception. And when you see how so many spiritual people have made a religion out of mindfulness, it becomes so utterly and hilariously clear just how much they are missing the very point they are beating themselves up to get. It reminds me of that Bugs Bunny cartoon where Elmer Fudd has his rifle and is looking for Bugs because he wants rabbit stew. Bugs is hanging over his shoulder munching a carrot and making suggestions to Elmer. That maybe he should look behind the tree or those bushes over there, and Elmer is seriously following his advice. I have no complaints or existential problems. Time will tell, of course, but James, I don't think I will ever have such things again. Not in this life, anyway. With great love and affection and gratitude, Roger. So, yeah, you get to be a real person, not one of these spiritual people. You just go back to what you were before you were spiritual. Spirituality is a correction. Huh? Huh? You want to erase that whole spirit. You've seen the story of the oxen in the Chinese, what is that, the Chan or the Zen thing? A Zen, yeah, it's a Zen thing, the oxen. Where you go, at one point you start in the world and then you find out what enlightenment is, and then you come back to the world. And it says, what is it? In the beginning, mountains were mountains, trees were trees, and then what was it? How's that go?
Yes, there is a mountain, there is no mountain, then there is.
Yeah, then there is. That's right. So you're going back to the world. You're going back as the person that left it, and that's fine. To be the jerk that you are is fine. You don't have to be mindful. You don't have to be spiritual. You don't have to do one damn thing except be what you are, because you know you're really this. It's not about being better or different or getting anywhere or achieving anything or accomplishing anything. It's just appreciating what you are as you are on both levels. And the only thing that's preventing that is just these funny notions, these silly ideas that I have about who I am. So I thought that was a beautiful email. And actually, I don't know if I should really say this or not, but I will, because it's true. There's been at least 8 or 10 people who just with the book and the website and a few email conversations have been set free by this teaching. Not by me. I'm good at doing what I do, but by their dedication, by their appreciation of the value of this teaching, and by just, assimilating it, taking it seriously. I don't even know these people, but they write me. Once it's happened and once they're clear about who they are, they write me, and they're with great gratitude and great respect and great humility. It's amazing. If you want to see some of those, if you look on the satsang section of the website, on the new satsangs, particularly the last 2 or 3 months, I've been getting more and more of these people than I have people with questions, actually. Because the Vedanta works. It's the grand tradition. It's worked for thousands of years. You Western people have no idea how many hundreds of thousands of enlightened people there are in India today. We're Westerners. We've only seen the export gurus. The Indians call them export gurus. You know why they call them export gurus? Because they're not good enough for local consumption. So we export them to the West, because those people don't know the difference. So they...
James, they became liberated. Did they stay at this level, or...
What's that?
You mean they attained this state of liberation? Did they remain at this state, or they fell back?
Well, liberation's not a state. So, if they attain something, then they're going to fall back. Because liberation's not an attainment. I know my book is that. The title of that's a provocative title. Because you can't attain it. Well, you can attain it, but you can't attain it. That's always a paradox here. See, the whole spiritual life itself is a total paradox, because you've got these what? You've got Satya and Mithya, and they don't stack up exactly. The only way they stack up, it makes sense, is with this teaching. You need a teacher and a teacher, and it makes sense out of this inherently paradoxical nature of existence. You just can't have it one way. It's not an either or here. So it's not a state that you get and you're never going to come back. Now, with reference to that idea, knowledge can be firm or not. In other words, in which case you can forget. But, hey, once you got the Vedanta, you know that even the forgetting is what? Nothing. Because you have a method for what? Remembering, if you call it remembering. It's not really remembering or forgetting. So once you see that that's what he's saying here, the tremendous confidence he has spiritually, because he's actually got tools that he can use. I'm not doing much. I mean, actually, he writes me, he gets a little stuck, and I haven't had any for a while now. I think that's the last one of those question emails I'm going to get from him. Because, when he got a little stuck, I'd nudge him a little bit or get him to, and then he'd move on. I wouldn't hear from him for 2 or 3 months, and then another one would come. But you get this amazing confidence because you've got the tools to do the job. And, the Neo-Advaita is good. They're all good. But you need a comprehensive means. It's got to be, you need all the toolkit. And they've got it. It's evolved. Thousands of years it took them to come up with this, and now it's working. It works beautifully. So, anyway. Verse 101. Vedanta boils down to one fact, for which the texts are the means of knowledge. The individual and the world are one. But what? They're not the same. Huh? Okay? They're one, because reality is non-dual, but the world and the self are not the same. They have the relationship that a ring has to the gold out of which it's made. You can't say that the ring or a cup, let's take a cup or a pot that's made out of clay. We got a clay cup. You can't say that cup doesn't exist, can you? It's just clay. It's just clay. This whole world's just consciousness, but what? You can't say that cup doesn't exist. It doesn't exist apart from consciousness, but it has a separate function, doesn't it? Because their clay, in that form, you can drink out of it. This is why you can't say it's non-existent. So your life and your body and your person, your ego, that you're not non-existent. You have a function here. You're a function. You're meant to do certain things here. But what? But what? This function, this person that you are, is completely dependent on what? On you, awareness. Okay? Think about it. But are you dependent on that person? No. Is the clay dependent upon the cup in any way to be clay? To be what it is, it doesn't depend on being a cup. It can as well be a plate or a fork or a spoon or a knife. It can as well be anything without ever stopping or ceasing to be clay. So that means what? The clay is free of the cup. You're free of this person who's what? That consciousness has manufactured you into. You're free of that person. That person has a function. Just like a cup, you can drink out of it. You're just drinking out of clay, but you're drinking out of clay in the form of a function. So we're all just, as egos, as jivas here, we're all just consciousness performing a function here for the total. And you can do your function here. It's great. You're not non-existent. You're valuable. In terms of the total, you're just as valuable as anything. Huh? Every little thing is just as important as every other thing. The big little things and the big things have exactly equal value. So don't ever feel that because you're doing some small little function that you're not valuable. You're just as important as the big guys who are doing the big functions.
How do you say that you're part of? How do you say that the little screw is supporting all this, or that everything?
No,
is part of,
that,
not
that's,
supporting, but that everything is coming down to you being that small imposition.
that superimposition.
Yeah.
How do you see that?
No, I mean like. You realise that by understanding that, right?
Yes, that's right.
But then the feeling of that, realising and having that understanding
Yeah.
is, it's something that has to really come to.
Well, yeah, yeah, that's right. And so you keep contemplating on the teachings until that knowledge is firm. That's the point. That knowledge has got to become steady, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. Then you're completely comfortable being this little person. You know, until that knowledge of yourself is firm, you're still going to feel uncomfortable being the person that you are. This knowledge is what's going to make me comfortable here. Huh? It's for me. It's not for the self. The self's always comfortable. Huh? It's for this knowledge is to make me feel comfortable here. I'm comfortable in my body, in my role. So I can do what I'm supposed to do. I'm here for a purpose. I'm fulfilling a role. You look at a watch, you look at the watch, there's a million parts in there. You take one of those little parts out and the whole thing falls apart, doesn't it? It doesn't work. If one little part in one of those Swiss watches is missing or defective, the whole thing doesn't work. So, you know, I need to understand how this works and what this is, right? And see what my role is, and then I'm comfortable in it. And until that knowledge is steady, you'll always be uncomfortable with yourself. When it's not, then you love yourself. You like yourself as you are. This jerk that you are, it's okay. It's just like a kid, you know. Some people, I was a terror. I feel so sorry for my parents. Honestly, I don't blame my parents at all. I feel they were victimized by me and my brother. You know? But my parents, when you have a kid like that, do you not love them? Do you not love them? Because they're little bastards, they're little devils? Do you not love them? No, you love them. Because they're you, they came out of you, they're right? So that part of yourself, you have that love, that tolerance, you see it's just me. And you have that acceptance and that tolerance that you don't want to try to change it and make it different and fix it. This whole fixing thing is just, nothing's broken here. Hey, we used to have a saying in America, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It ain't broke. Huh? It's perfect. It's a setup. Bhagawan's got it all set up. It's all perfect. You're perfect. Self's perfect. Everything's perfect here. Right? Just relax. See how beautiful it is, how perfect it is. What we're trying to do is just reveal the beauty and the perfection of reality. That's the vision of non-duality, is a vision of perfection and beauty. It's a vision of the truth. Once you see the truth, hey, you relax. And you're fine. You see, I'm okay. Anyway. Liberation is, and what is liberation? Staying with this knowledge. See the next verse. Just, you know it. You all know it. But stay with it. Staying with it is what we're talking about here. That means when that other voice comes up, that little doubter, that little questioner, that part of you that's not confident, sit it down, give it a cup of tea, pat it on the back, have a little conversation, and get its thinking straight. Teach it how to think properly about itself. This is how you're meant to think about yourself. If your ego doesn't get it, be nice to it, communicate to it. Don't whack it or kill it or get rid of it or deny it or any of that. Sit down and educate it. Here's the textbook for education. It's got to go to school. This is the ABCs of arithmetic. It's got to learn the ABCs. So you sit down, you educate it. So it thinks properly. We're not against thinking. Thinking's glorious. It's an amazing thing. I love my brain. My mother started cultivating my brain when I was a little kid. She said, I used to fight like the devil. I used to fight all these people, and I was always getting beat up. I beat up a few people too, but basically I got beat up a lot. I lost my teeth and all kinds of things. And my mother one day says, there's always somebody that's bigger and stronger than you, but there doesn't have to be anybody that's smarter than you. Okay, that sounds good. That sounds a lot easier than patching up a broken eye and going to the dentist all the time because my teeth are getting knocked out. It's like, hey, God gave us this brain for a reason. It doesn't have to be the problem. See, all these people are saying, stop your mind, get rid of your mind. It's not, you can't do, first of all, you can't do it. And the mind is only a problem because it thinks dumb thoughts in a dumb way. But it can think the right thoughts in a beautiful way. Why not? Why not just re-educate yourself to think properly? Because from the intellect, everything flows. From your knowledge, everything flows. This is the top guy on the, what? On the inner self. The top guy here is the intellect. This is not the culprit. This is not the devil. This is a good guy here. He's just got some silly ideas. Let's re-educate him. Turn this person into the guru. This part of myself should be the guru. So you can teach yourself. So you can educate yourself. I can't run your life or educate. I can take care of myself because I got the knowledge from my guru. But once I got the knowledge, I'm on my own. You know what my guru said when I met him, shortly after I met him? He said, sit down, shut up, pay attention, and we'll have you out of here as quickly as possible because you're taking up valuable real estate that other people can use. I thought, hey, that's cool. Because I don't want to be a satsangi all my life. I don't want to be running around trailing after some guru all my life, doing all this spiritual crap. I want to get out in the world and have a good time. Right? He said, we'll just pay attention. We'll get you out of here. What a great, What a great teacher that is. Not to, oh no, we want you to stay. You're not ready yet. You see, you're not this and that, to keep you and collect more and more people and get you more and more dependent. We want you independent. We want you out of here. Huh? Really, because the world's a beautiful place. This is a fabulous, wonderful, glorious place in which to live. Huh? And this is how you do it. Think right, think straight. Buddha said what? Right knowledge. Buddha was right. On most of it, Buddha was right. He had a few little tweaks where he, we don't even know what Buddha knew or not, really. It was hundreds of years, several hundred years afterwards, that people started writing this stuff down. And in our tradition, we accept Buddha as a enlightened person. We just say that his teaching was, heterodox. That it means it wasn't an orthodox teaching. It wasn't based totally on the Vedas. Most of it came from the Vedas, but he tweaked it. And we don't like people who tweak his teaching. Believe me, we don't. That's why I'm attacking Neil Advaita. I'm like the temple dog, Come close to Vedanta with the wrong idea, and you get bitten by Ramji. No, because you know why? Because, hey, if you got a wheel and it's round and it works, you don't need to make a square wheel or an oblong wheel or any other kind of wheel. The wheel has been invented. Hack it in on fixing it or making a different one or a new one for today. I don't need to reinvent this thing. This works. It's beautiful. Human beings are what they are. They're always going to be what they are. The truth is always what it is. It works. Just surrender to it. Huh? Take it on board and what? Walk out and enjoy the world. Enjoy yourself. So liberation is staying with this knowledge. You're free to walk away from it. You're free, and then, fair enough. Go out to samsara. It will teach you better than this. It'll just whack you upside the head until you just surrender. So it's up to you. Smart people just stick with the knowledge. That's all they do. Very good. I got this. I was going to read something from Greg Good's book called Standing as Awareness. It's a nice little book. It's basically direct path teaching. This is what they call direct path. Direct path means that you just don't have to go through all this karmic stuff to get here. You just go directly here. That's basically. And that's what Vedanta is. His guru was a great Vedanta teacher, great Vedanta master. Anyway, the realization, 102. The inquirer said to the teacher, "By your grace I am blessed, because I have accomplished all that has to be accomplished. I am released from samsara. I am whole and complete bliss, free from lack and always present. I am everything that is. I have regained my kingdom due to your grace and the grace of Ishvara." Ishvara is what brings the Guru into your life in this teaching. And you've earned that grace by right living. You've been forthright and true and good. You've been honest in the way you've lived your life. And for that, because of that integrity that you've shown in your living, you've been blessed with a teaching and a teacher. That's Ishvara. Because it's Ishvara's will that you be free, because you are Ishvara. And Ishvara's nature is free. So the self is what? Set everything up and brought you to this. And the student recognizes this. Like this fellow Roger. He recognizes this. There was grace, how it came. And he's grateful. The gratitude is there. You can feel the gratitude in that thing. I have regained my kingdom. You and Ishvara are one. I bow to you again and again. These teachings and the teacher are one with Ishvara. This is just the teachings. That's why I say, this is not Ramji. This is not my teachings. This is Ishvara. This is Ishvara's teaching. I'm just a mouthpiece. The scriptures, the teaching, right? That's who you're in communication with. This is just God speaking. After enlightenment. Okay, he's got enlightened. Okay, he's got enlightenment. What is the enlightenment? He's fine, complete bliss, free from lack. If you feel lack, then you got to keep working. You got to keep working till that sense of lack goes away. And the way you tell when you're free, your desires and your fears just dry up. You're just not interested anymore in anything here. And it's not because there's anything wrong with you. It's because there's something right with you. Huh? Oh no, I'm not interested in the world anymore. The worldly people, they hate that, you know. When you start walking away from the world and you're not interested in this stuff here, they think there's something wrong with you. You're disassociated. Here, take some meds or whatever. Huh? That's their idea, because there's something wrong with you because you're not interested. No, if you are interested in this, there's something wrong with you, because there's nothing here to be interested in. It's just you appearing as a dream. You appreciate it for a dream, but you won't be chasing anything because you know it's a dream. And now what should I do after enlightenment? Final bit here. After enlightenment. The teacher said, oh, what? Spend your time seeing yourself in every situation. He's giving him an instruction here to keep on inquiring. I have another one I'll read you. Maybe tomorrow I'll bring it. There's another one, beautiful one I got from this woman who realized herself 6 or 8 months ago. And she said, really, inquiry has just begun. It's fabulous. She knows she's the self, she's free as anything, happy as a clam. But he's saying here, just keep on inquiring. Spend your time seeing yourself in every situation and enjoying the bliss of the self. Hey, what else are you going to do? What else? When you know who you are, what else are you going to do? You can go now. You are free. Live according to the results of your past actions. In other words, as it said earlier, the arrow has been released from the bow. You did all those things in the past. Now you're no longer the doer of those things. And allow those things to just fructify. Let that arrow hit the target and live according to that. If you're setting out, once you got free, to change your karma, what's the problem? You're not free. Oh, now I'm enlightened. Now I can really kick ass here in the world. Whoopee! Huh? Right? That's what happens. As soon as these people get some kind of realization, they set out to they get ambitious spiritually. And they're going to save the world or whatever.
You want to create merit.
Huh?
You want to create merit.
Yeah, you want to create merit. And you are what's meritorious. So you don't have to do any meritorious actions. Huh? You just, what? Just live out your karma. That's all. And whatever's in the pipeline will fructify, and you just respond to that normally. How cool is that? Nothing to change, everything's fine. It doesn't matter what it is. Some good experiences will come, some bad experiences will come. So what? It's just my karma, my prerogative fructifying, and I just see it, I know it, I'm unaffected by it. So he says, just live according to the results of your past action. The disciple paid his respects again and again to the teacher, he's paid his respects again, and the teacher, there's a mistake here, comma, should be, his mind drowned in an ocean of bliss, moved here and there, blessing everyone he met with the teachings. The nature of the self has now been unfolded in this dialogue for the easy understanding of seekers of liberation. These liberating words of Shankara quest the existential thirst of those seeking relief from the scorching rays of the sun of samsara. Om Tat Sat.